Hi, second grade. We are going over lesson 9-6 today, place value patterns with numbers. So we have been working on our place value, adding in the hundreds, right? So we have our hundreds, tens, ones. So now we are going to be looking for patterns in these numbers to be able to help you, say, skip count or know if you add 10, what that number is. So we are just going to go over a few patterns that you're going to see with place value to be able to help you guys out. So our first one, we have some missing numbers in this chart, right? So we need to figure out what our missing numbers are. So these are the patterns that we're going to be looking for. So we know it says 633. So I know the next number is going to be 634. Because if you just count by ones, so 633, 634. And if it's too difficult for you to say the 6, just cross that out in the beginning and say, okay, 33, 34, 35. So if that's too hard for you, you can easily cross out that hundreds if you're still getting to that point. So our next number is going to be, so we have 633, 634, 635, and our next number is going to be 636. So if you want to pause this video and write down this graph so that you are able to do this with me, that would be awesome. Or you can just pay attention, that's cool too. So our next number is 636, then 637. And now let's look what our next number is. So after 637, we have 638. So now we just completed this entire top row. So now let's start looking for patterns. So I'm going to look for a few patterns. Okay, so in our ones place right here, we have a 3. In this ones place, we have a 4. We don't have anything in this one, so we're going to have to try to figure that out. In this column, we have a 6 in our ones place. In this column, we have a 7. And then in this one, we have an 8. So I'm curious to see what is going to be in our ones place, but I think with these patterns, you guys will be able to figure it out. So we skipped going on over here, so it'll be 638. Now over here, we're at 644. So we're missing a couple numbers in between there. That's why these patterns help you. So it's still going to be in the 600s because we haven't gone on to 700, and you can tell that by this row and that row. We haven't gotten to the 700s. So right now we're in the 600s. So ours says 600, and now we need to figure out what is in our tens place. And we can look to these numbers that are in these rows. We have a 4, 4, and 4, or 40. So we know that we're going to be putting a 4 right here. And last but not least, that's where the pattern comes into play. We know that there's going to be a 3 in our ones place, so our number is 643. Then we have 644. Now we know it's going to be 640 something. And since we only have one other, that's a 5, that's not really showing us a pattern yet. But if you counted on 643, 644, 645. So now we do see a pattern. I have 2 right here that I can show you that a 5 is going to be in that ones place. In our next one, we have 640, right? Because we knew it's the 640. And we have our pattern. We have a 6 in the ones place. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 6 in this ones place. And that is the correct number because now let's read it through. 643, 644, 645, 646, 647, 648. So those patterns are helping us fill in the blanks for this box. Let's go ahead and go to our bottom one down here. And remember, we skipped some numbers. So after 648, it would be 649, then 650, 651, 652, but that's not in our box right now. We're just looking for patterns. So our first number in this box is, we're not going to 700 yet because you can tell that we're still in that 600 range. So now we have, let's look at our tens place. Remember, this is our hundreds place, tens place, and ones place. So let's look at our tens place. We have a 5 right here, a 5 right here, and a 5 right here. So we know that it's going to be 650 something, right? So now we have 653, 650. So you can either count on by ones in this situation, or you can look at the pattern that's up here with the 4s in the ones place. So we know that there's going to be a 4 in the ones place right here. So we have 654. Next, we know our next one is going to be 650 something, because that's what our hundreds and tens place shows. Then we're going to look at our pattern that we have in this table. Okay, so there's 2 5s in our ones place, so we know that it's going to be 655. And if you counted by ones, starting from over here, you know that's also the correct answer because you have 653, 654, 655, 656, 657. And now we need to just put in our last number over here. So we know it's going to be 650 something. Let's look at our pattern to see what is in that ones place with this pattern. It's an 8, so I'm going to go ahead and put an 8 down. And we know that that is the correct answer because if you count by ones, we have 653, 654, 655, 656, 657, 658. And remember, if it's too hard saying that hundreds right now, since we're just getting more used to it, you can just cross those out and you can make sure that you have the correct answer just doing the tens and ones. So if you needed to cross that out for right now, you could say, okay, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. Okay, so I know those are the correct answers to fill in the box because that's how you count by ones, just to help you out. All right, well, I hope that helped you guys with finding patterns in place value. And there are going to be more patterns that you are going to see, but always look at the ones place because you're going to find what number is coming next. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.